What's going on, YouTube? This is Monty, and I'm here focusing on my authentic Amazon FBA journey. One of the most interesting things I've seen recently in business is a trend towards really telling people the authentic journeys that you've had as you've gone in business. 2021 has been a unique experience for me because obviously we're coming from the pandemic, and coming from the pandemic, we've experienced a lot of ...2021 has been a unique experience for me because obviously we're coming from the pandemic, and coming from the pandemic, we've experienced a lot of new opportunities and new struggles. People are still dealing with the mask, and people are still shopping from home more than ever. And Amazon's grown tremendously. I'm not sure if people know it, but it's one of those things where you can just check out Prime. Irony of everything, I'm not a Prime member. I don't have Prime. People in my family have Prime, so a lot of times when I use Prime, I'm using family's accounts to use Prime. That being said, I am an Amazon seller, and in being an Amazon seller, I'm also given the option to do Amazon FBA and Amazon FBM. FBA on Amazon is fulfillment by Amazon. FBM is fulfillment by merchant. So I, as the merchant, can put up my product, my goods, and list them on Amazon, and Amazon will then ship my products. They'll package the product. They'll do with returns. They'll do with the entire process. If I'm doing FBM, then I'm doing the process. It's a difference of how much you actually take home, but it's also a difference of how much the product is actually managed and maintained by you. And FBM is one of those times where you have a lot more control, but you also have a lot more responsibility. And the biggest thing is, I've talked to hundreds of my friends, and again, we're talking the pandemic. They are all saying the same thing. I don't want to pay for shipping. I either don't want to pay for shipping, or I want to pay the minimum amount of shipping I can. But most people are like, I don't ever pay for shipping. And they'll go to the store and they'll look for a product, and they'll say, you know what? If you don't have great customer service and I can't get it right now, I'll just go to Prime, and Prime will have it. When I say Amazon Prime, people don't necessarily appreciate the fact that 50% of all e-commerce comes from Amazon Prime. 50%. We're not talking about the idea of someone generating 50%. We're talking about almost like the Joker level of production. When he was in The Dark Knight and he told the mobsters, hey, I want half. And it was like, half of what? Like half of all their money. Amazon's taking half of all the money in e-commerce. That scale is unconscionable. I'm not mad at Amazon, but it's just one of the things you have to consider. And when you consider it, we're not just talking about the US, because when you become an Amazon seller, you're getting an opportunity to sell in Britain, in Canada, in various parts of Europe, in Africa, all those places that Amazon delivers. You have given Amazon the right to represent you as a partner. Now, that being said, I am an Amazon seller, and in being an Amazon seller, I'm also given the option to do Amazon FBA and Amazon FBM. FBA on Amazon is fulfillment by Amazon. FBM is fulfillment by merchant. So I, as the merchant, can put up my product, my goods, and list them on Amazon, and Amazon will then ship my products. They'll package my products. They'll do it with returns. They'll do it with the entire process. If I'm doing FBM, then I'm doing the process. It's a difference of how much you actually take home, but it's also a difference of how much the product is actually managed and maintained by you. And FBM is one of those times where you have a lot more control, but you also have a lot more responsibility. And the biggest thing is, I've talked to hundreds of my friends, and again, we're talking the pandemic. They are all saying the same thing. I don't want to pay for shipping. I either don't want to pay for shipping, or I want to pay the minimum amount of shipping I can. But most people are like, I don't ever pay for shipping. And they'll go to the store and they'll look for a product, and they'll say, you know what? If you don't have great customer service and I can't get it right now, I'll just go to Prime, and Prime will have it. When I say Amazon Prime, people don't necessarily appreciate the fact that 50% of all e-commerce comes from Amazon Prime. 50%. We're not talking about the idea of someone generating 50%. We're talking about almost like the Joker level of production. You know, when he was in The Dark Knight and he told the mobsters, hey, I want half. And it was like, half of what? Like half of all their money. Amazon's taking half of all the money in e-commerce. That scale is unconscionable. I'm not mad at Amazon, but it's just one of the things you have to consider. And when you consider it, we're not just talking about the US, because when you become an Amazon seller, you're getting an opportunity to sell in Britain, in Canada, in various parts of Europe, in Africa, all those places that Amazon delivers. You have given Amazon the right to represent you as a partner. Now, if you are going to sell those products and goods, then it really goes back to the fulfillment centers. Again, if you're going to be the merchant, then it's on. One of the biggest things about Amazon FBA and Amazon FBM is really getting a perspective of what to be cognizant of. Sometimes it's a challenge to understand all the pieces, all the different things that are factoring into Amazon, but you have to really understand it before you move forward with Amazon. I can show an account that actually has revenue generated and sales, but it doesn't necessarily take into account mentorship, if you will. I've seen a lot of people with the whole, I make $200,000, I make $300,000 a month on Amazon gross, and at the end of the day, I make $100,000. If you make $300,000, I make $100,000 as my net profit. Now, that's somebody that's doing FBA. That's somebody that's been doing it for a while. That's somebody that's gotten to a point where they've gotten a lot of volume. And once you get a lot of volume, it is a point where, okay, you pay for the product, you've shipped the product, you've gotten that level of profit, but you really had to position yourself in the market in a way over a period of time that got you to a point where you have that level of volume. It doesn't start off day one where, oh, day one I've shipped 100 products and now I've made $100,000, unless you have $1,000 product or something that has massive volume. Amazon FBA puts you in a position where you can automate your process, you can automate your systems, but it's not immediate overnight. So this YouTube channel is dedicated to both. This is an Amazon box right there that we're actually shipping out to Amazon, just to fill out with the paperwork and all the information. But this is going to be an authentic journey that really speaks to what we're going to be selling and marketing on Amazon, what our profits are going to be, from the beginning to, whether we pivot or proceed. We're going to be looking at this from a sense of what it takes to make a successful Amazon seller account in 2021. And some people will say, oh, is it too late to be an Amazon seller? I'll go back to part of what really got me got my team and I into this Amazon journey, it was really doing learning from Facebook Lives, learning from Shopify, learning from what it is to do e-commerce. I've been doing something in the space of online marketing for the better part of 20 years. In 1999, I worked for a startup, and we were doing online marketing. We would have creatives created. I would spend about $1 million a month, and I'm sorry. It ended up being about $1 million a week, but it shifted. We were a publicly traded company, and so I went from spending $1 million a month to it would be February, the beginning of February. Okay, listen, we got $1 million to spend this month. Spend it. Got it. By the end of that week, okay, cut all campaigns. We're not spending anything right now. Okay. Week 3, we have $4 million have to be spent right here, right now. Get all the campaigns live again. And that's how it was when we had a publicly traded company, and we had, when we spent $1 million, it was easy to spend $1 million to $2 million in a given month. But the struggle became, what was the return? What was the lifetime customer value? What was the consideration of the value you received for the spend you actually gave out? We knew our numbers. We knew what a lifetime customer value was. We knew our metrics. So if we had a customer, we actually had our metrics not just on a macro perspective. We did. We knew that for every customer, they were worth, for lack of a better word, $5 a piece to us. So at the point where we had 40 million customers, and we had 40 million customers, we had a value of 200 million on those customers. That was the value of our customer base was 200 million. The business was worth $1 billion because we not only had that value on the customers, and again, I'm saying in the general sense, it was a $5 value on 40 million customers, but in a more specific sense, we had revenue that was generated from the customers well beyond what the initial premise was. So the initial premise was, if a customer comes in and they're worth $5 to us, we could pay up to $5 for that actual customer, because we could potentially then not just make the $5, but potentially make more. As it stands with our current customers, we know our numbers. Our average customer, and I'm just going to be transparent, but this is not Amazon. This is just sort of in our business, and this is how we've been able to translate it to Amazon. We know that our average customer buys 2 items. Our average customer then, in buying 2 items, would have a shipping cost of roughly $8. We don't necessarily consider shipping costs a part of our profit, but it's a part of the cost of doing business right now, which is amazing, because there was a time where shipping cost was, let's say the shipping cost was $8 and the actual cost of shipping was $3. You made a profit on shipping also, shipping and handling. And this is the other thing, and again, this is part of why I'm speaking to Amazon as opposed to doing it personally. When you have shipping, and it could be, let's say, again, $3.50, and your shipping charge is $8. It might sound like a whole lot of profit, but if you are packaging the item in a poly bag, if you are wrapping that package with any kind of tissue paper, let's say it's clothing, you're wrapping up those clothing items with tissue paper. You're also putting them into a bubble wrap mailer to make sure that they're secure when they get to the people when they receive it. All of those are factors that you have to consider, and you have to add to the idea of, this is what I have, this is where it's going, this is what it's going to cost. And initially it's like, okay, this is great. Average customers getting 2 items, the average generation of revenue is roughly $30 per customer. And if I'm making a broad assumption, let's say the profit on a $29 customer is roughly, let's say $15. And I'm throwing these numbers out, not that they're real, because sometimes numbers are higher, sometimes numbers are lower, but I'm just saying this is how it was. We looked at it from a stance of, the average customer generated $29, the average profit was $15, including shipping. So therefore, if we needed to acquire a customer, conceptually, we could spend up to $29 per customer to acquire the customer. Now, some people would say, but there's no profit if you spend $29 per customer to acquire the customer. Here's the rub. what is considered to be a smart decision is if you have a customer, it's easier to sell a customer to spin a customer than it is to sell a brand new customer. So the intention is to build a customer base of loyal customers. Some people would say this statement of 1,000 true fans. And in building 1,000 true fans, you can do anything, because if the true fans are going to come and support you on a regular basis, some people would call them subscribers, actually, like the YouTube subscribers. YouTube has sort of that same mindset with every YouTuber, because they want you to have 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and then from there you're able to start. You also have to have 4,000 watch hours. But once you have 1,000 YouTube subscribers and you have 4,000 watch hours, you're able to monetize it because you have 1,000 true fans. In business, the same thing. If you had 1,000 true customers and those customers are loyal to you, you now have the position to say, okay, well, let me offer these additional things. And that's what it comes down to, the lifetime customer value, because it's not just the one purchase. It's really looking at the several purchases. It's looking at, if my customer spent $29 with me the first time, that's first time. The question then becomes, what's your return customer? What do they usually spend? We've had people as return customers that spent 6-7 times, and they start off $29. The second time they might be $50, third time they might be $40. Sometimes by the time they're on their fourth or fifth time, they spend $100 on that one occasion. So if it started off $29 and at the end we're looking, and we're not saying the end, but we're saying if they went 29, 50, and then 100, that $29 customer is now worth $210 to you, because that's just what they spent over the course of their lifetime. That's a lifetime customer value. So if you acquire a customer for $29, but you actually then have generated $210 in gross revenue, and if the same level of profit becomes true, and you've generated a profit of $100, and I'm saying that just as general, but let's say you generate a profit of $110, just to keep it sort of in the more profit than cost. You generate $110 off of $210 in spend from the customer. It makes sense to go and say, okay, I'm spending $29 at least on the customer. In some cases, you might say, oh, you know what? I can spend $50 per customer. If my initial revenue is $29 and I know they're going to generate me $110, I can spend $50 on this person, on these people, to get to a point where I have my 1,000 true fans, and now I have enough revenue to make this all make sense. Now, I'm bringing this to the next phase of the game, and I'm saying Shopify is sort of in a similar perspective of Facebook Lives. In both cases, you're sort of managing the process. You can actually do your inventory, you do your shipping, you manage the whole process. Shopify is very interesting because a lot of people do drop shipping with Shopify. And when you do drop shipping with Shopify, you've moved the process from just, and I'm going to do I'm going to do a YouTube about a lot of these things, just to really share what the situations have been. But Shopify has allowed you to do drop shipping. And drop shipping is such a unique space because you're then able to take out some of the shipping costs that happens directly to you. And the shipping costs, not necessarily saying there's no shipping costs, but shipping costs in terms of the packing. You don't have to pay for the packing in many cases when you have Shopify, because you're having a drop ship. We have a Shopify account, and we have certain products that are being drop shipped. They go from the location directly to the customer. We never touch it, and the quality of the goods are good, and we don't have a worry when it comes to that approach to business. The next phase of the game is the Amazon side, and when you're doing the Amazon side, you're building a business that has Amazon from an FBA perspective. When we speak to Facebook Live, or you have your own e-commerce store, wherever it might be, customers come to you, you have to advertise, you have to market, you have to then drive the customers to you so you actually generate the revenue. And I've given you the scale, you know your numbers there. Let's say you say the same numbers remain true on Shopify. Pretty similar. You can take the drop shipping and make that number a lot better for you, because you don't have to pay for the polymail or the wrapping, all those things that are factors. When you move to Facebook Live, when you move to Amazon, everything shifts a little bit because you've now come to a point where you have given them from FBA. I'm not saying fulfillment by merchant is just like you're doing your own store. You have to ship, you have to carry the cost, the whole process. If you're doing fulfillment by Amazon, you've moved that whole shipping cost of $8 to Prime, which is $0. Now, here's the real factor, and I kind of go back to Facebook Live and doing your own store. Initially, there was a time where, and I'm saying this has been for some time, years ago, there was a time where when you did a package, $3.50 might be the cost of mailing itself. And that's assuming you actually got some discounts from some other processes. Now, when it comes down to doing the mailing today, they've increased the cost dramatically. Those costs have gone up to $8 for the same thing that used to be $3, $4, $5. It's now $8. It's made the shift such a unique struggle, because if it costs $8, if you're charging $8 and your shipping cost is $8, then you're in a position where you have to make sure the shipping is right and accurate, and don't let the customer put in the wrong address, or for some odd reason the system you're using to ship ships it in the inaccurate way. All of those are factors, and all of those are costs. We've shipped thousands and thousands of units to products, and we've had customers put in the wrong address. We've had information just print off wrong in the system. All those things are factors, and when you start to get a return, it adds up. If again, the cost is $8, and this is real. We've had it where customers are spending $29 with us. We had $8 real shipping costs. It goes to the wrong address. It comes back. It might take weeks to come back. It doesn't make sense. It's frustrating. It's annoying. The customer's looking for it. We're looking for it. It takes weeks to come back because it's the wrong address, and they consider it to be undeliverable. So then we've gone from taking something on a normal journey of a USPS to a UPS or a FedEx to make sure it gets to the customer in an immediate time. So that $8 shipping goes from $8 to $20. The customer's only spent $29 with us. We're spending $28 up front, and it doesn't consider the packaging, the poly mailer, all those kinds of things. I bring that back to the original point. When it comes to Amazon, they take care of that for you. So that shipping cost of $8 you normally would spend and worry about, that's gone. The shipping cost to the customer, that's gone. It's just the products. So people are more inclined to just say, hey, I'm going to buy this because it's Amazon, it's Prime. I don't have to worry about the shipping cost. And that's an amazing element of the sale. It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much quicker for you to generate revenue. It makes it so much quicker for Amazon to help you to just be a successful Amazon seller. And that's not even getting into what Amazon's doing to help people become successful sellers. This is just sort of talking about one of the rational reasons you want to be an Amazon seller. And as an Amazon seller, there's tremendous benefits. That being said, that's it, guys. I'm going to start doing these videos every single day for the next 30 days to just create new content, talking about my Amazon journey. This one hasn't necessarily been focused on the profitability, but it's been kind of touching on a couple pieces that I think are not necessarily considered when you start to do Amazon sales. And I want people to start looking at that. I want to share with my community about the Amazon sales, the Amazon journey, the authentic, unique challenges and opportunities that comes with Amazon. I don't think I've seen a lot of people talk about it, but I haven't really talked to people that I knew that understood the Amazon journey. They wanted to know more about it. So I'm doing these videos for the people that I know that really wanted to know my experience as a full-fledged Amazon seller, and even more what it took to become an Amazon brand. So one of the things I'll talk about in the future is what it took to become an Amazon brand, because that was a unique experience in and of itself. Anyway, I don't want to cover everything in this one video. If you want to reach me, you can feel free to connect. Comment below. Let me know what you're looking to learn from an Amazon perspective. And I'm completely interested in sharing. Also, if you have any questions about e-commerce, online marketing, I've done online marketing for over 22 years. 1999, it might have been 1998. I can't think. That's sad to say. I don't know whether it was 1999 or 1998. I know without question I was involved in 1999, October, ironically, and this is October right now. October of 1999, I was involved in a publicly traded online marketing unicorn. And maybe that's something I'll share a little bit more about as I progress within this Amazon journey. But anyway, that's it for right now. That's it. That's